Okay, there we go. So, Alex, are you ready for this? Alex,
Hello.
can you hear me? Are you ready for this assessment?
Well, I believe I am, yeah.
Okay,
This
so
is
what?
Cape Town we're talking about, so I can never be that confident, but I believe I am ready.
Yeah, so what I thought would be the easiest because I've gone through what you sent me, your presentation, as well as your resubmission and everything. So I think to make it a bit more fast, I've prepared a slideshow based on what you had to prepare. So that you
Okay.
have visual images, because I saw your presentation was just written information that doesn't help
Mm-hmm.
us for an assessment, because then all the information is there. So I'm not going to make it too in-depth. I'm going to ask you the questions. Remember that first, what I sent you, I think it was on the 6th. Let me just see what date it was. Yeah, on the 26th of June, I sent you that the topics that you had to prepare. Remember?
Okay, I do remember that.
Yeah. So I hope you
I think I tried to put them in the.
in the presentation.
Mhm.
Sorry, what did you say? Did you try to put them in the presentation, or you
Yeah,
didn't?
I was saying I tried to squeeze all those topics in the presentation when I was doing the presentation, even though it's just word-based, not pictures, but that's what I tried.
Yeah, I see most of it was based for towns on the garden route, which was not a problem. I'm sure you'll be able to answer the questions, and if there's and I believe after the session you will have a much clearer picture of the Western Cape. So so that being said, I think let's start. I just want to share the screen. Then
I can see your screen. I think there's a problem with mine. I don't know if it's frozen or what's going on.
can you see this Western Cape? Alex?
But there's something that can close it because I can see you doing something. No, it's on my side. It's not on your side because I can see underneath this box that on mine, your screen is working. There's just something blocking my own view, and it's taking forever.
Yeah, because if it's not going to work, you know, I don't want you not to have the visual.
Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I can see now. I can see.
Okay. So, Alex, what I'm going to do is, according to that, uh, that the clues or the key topics I've sent to you on the 26th of June, I am now going to question you on those topics. Uh, so it's not going to be intense, but for most of it, but I'm just going to do like a check on those things. Have you prepared it? What's your knowledge about it? So really the basic knowledge about the province, and then we'll take it from there. Is that all right?
Okay. All right. No, that's okay. That's okay.
Okay,
Let's do this.
so let's just break the ice. What is the Western Cape famous for? What just
Well,
you
to
can mention
start
it.
with, it is
Yeah.
okay. Western Cape is mostly famous for the Table Mountain.
Okay. Yes. And what else can you mention?
Okay, if I would speak about Western Cape and its fame, we would definitely speak about the Table Mountain as the most monument, the world's monument, and the wonder in the province. And then we would speak about the
What
Robben
monument?
Island.
What monument? Okay, Robben Island. Yeah.
Yes. So basically, the attraction, the fame of it is definitely the Table Mountain, followed by the Robben Island. And to some tourists, when you speak of Western Cape at large, then they start to think of the entire garden route, up to Cape Town, the wineland, and all the nature in the garden route, the whales in Plettenberg Bay going up. So that
Okay,
is what it is famous for,
okay,
but
that's
mainly the
okay.
Table Mountain.
Okay, that's 100%. You've got it spot on. Sufficient information. Okay, and then if we look at, okay, we'll look at that one now. Let's have a look at the coat of arms. Now, talk to me about the coat of arms.
Okay, the coat of arms. If we start talking about the anchor in the coat of arm, that one is the symbol of hope.
Okay. Yeah, so just you can just talk
The
what you
stability
don't worry about.
of the province.
Yeah, okay.
And if I would okay. And then if I would talk about the grapes that are in the shield, the grapes, they represent the agriculture, especially the fruit and the wineland, like the
Yeah.
winery in the province. And the pot we see underneath in the coat of arm. What's the pot now again? But it is the copy of the one found in Ceres, and it is the koi pot, it is the clay pot, and it speaks more of the manufacturing sector of the province.
Yeah.
And then we have the motto at the bottom, the spes bona, meaning the good hope. And the crown is of the protea, and that crown, oh, what it says now again, but it says now again. Okay, I'm a bit
Okay, that's
out
okay.
of the crown.
Okay, that's fine. Skip
And
on.
then
What
we
are the
also
two
have the extinct pauga. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right, but it would be kucha. It is an extinct. And then we have the bontebok, which is the significant animal of the Cape Town.
Okay. Are you reading from notes, Alex?
Not really, but I made some what's this? Some highlights of the topic, like the bullet forms. As you are
Yeah.
showing me the coat of arm in pictures, I just made the bullet forms of myself.
Okay, because I really need you to start memorize, and can you see the purpose why we would include the coat of arms? It's a very valuable tool to give people an introduction of the province, and you did very well, even though I think you're reading from your notes, as long as you will know that when you're on tour. Okay, I just wanted to show you this picture. You can see the Bontebok on the left. And then on the right, it's the Blesbok. So this Blesbok, when you come to Gauteng for Trucker Monument and the reserves up here, we have this one. You can see it's not as beautiful as your as the Bontebok in the Western
I
Cape.
thought the same thing. I thought one was male and the one was female.
No, but do you see also this one has got socks more white, it's darker. It's a more beautiful animal. While the one here up north, which is a grassland animal, this one is more fynbos. You can see the vegetation around it. While the Blesbok is more a grassland animal, I felt. So just something interesting. Okay. What else is produced in the Western Cape? You've mentioned winelands, fruits, the manufacturing sector. What else is produced in the Western Cape in terms of maybe agriculture? What can you think of? I can give you a clue. Here's a map. What else is famous for the Western Cape?
Well, Western Cape specifically, as I've spoken about the wine, it
Yeah.
is mostly producing fruits and vegetables. Remember when this guy arrived there, he was sent to do a refreshment stop. So they started farming on fruits and vegetables. So it is mostly known for food.
And
That I can say it is.
okay. And then
Sorry?
this area, can you see my mouse moving over it? Yeah, on the left, that yellow area.
Yes.
What area? That
I can see
area is
that.
known as the Swartland. What is it famous for? the Swartland.
Known as
Pardon me?
Swartland. I'd be lying if I said I did go that
Okay.
far. I
Okay,
don't
so
even-
the Swartland is the wheat. It's a very famous wheat growing area. Have you heard of Bokomo? Wheat pix and those things. They come from
Yes,
Swartland.
Bokomo, yeah.
Okay, and then
Then-
okay, and then this section above Western Cape, this orange section, what region does that form part of? Do you know the section? You know, it's like north of the Swartberge. Do you know this region? Okay, we'll get back to that.
Okay.
Tell me what
I'm
else.
not so good with
Okay,
maps.
but you
If
need
you're
to
showing
know
me
the
maps, I'm not so good with
okay, but you need to know the agricultural activities of the different regions. So just make sure
activities.
that you do that. Okay. We'll get back to that. Okay, let's
Okay,
go on to the next topic. Do you know what the provincial flower of the Western Cape is? This is not, I just came across it this morning. I also didn't know it. Do you know?
Is it not the Protea flower?
No, it's not. Although it appears on the coat of arms, it's this red disa. Remember that in the provincial overview, I spoke about the red disa and the story of the witch of X River. Did you watch those?
Is not the register? Oh no.
Okay, but anyway,
The
long
Redisa,
story
I've
short,
seen this.
this is the provincial flower. I didn't know it because that's the beautiful story of the witch of X River. So this is a nice story to tell to people if you're talking about the province and the overview, because it's such a beautiful flower that this man risked his life for, because that's a true story. You know, the girl who requested her lover or future husband to collect this Disa for her, and then she would marry him. And then the one she loved, he died, trying to get it for her. So that's when she went crazy, and they called her the witch. Just always look up stories related, you know, link things to what you can see, like the coat of arms, beautiful stories, so that people get a feel for the province. You understand? Okay, what is the population of the Western Cape according to the latest mid-year estimates? That was one thing that you had to correct. What is the population?
Is it not 5.5 million at the moment?
No, Alex, because I said you must go and look up the mid-year estimates, the latest one. That's, we are already 2 million people later. So the current for the 22 mid-year estimates, it's already over 7 million people. Here you can see Gauteng 16. When we get to Gauteng, remember, I'm going to ask you this again, although there might be later stats. 16 million in Gauteng, 11 million in KZN, almost 11 and a half, or it's 11 and a half, and then over 7 million in Western Cape. So please, that's why I take the time and go.
So for me, I left it on 2008 when it was 5.2 to 5.3 million.
Okay, Alex, but I did put it in your feedback that you need to go and look it up. So please, I'm making a lot of effort to give you feedback, and I expect you to go and look it up. So don't leave it at 2008. That's way out of dated. So if I have it in the book, it doesn't matter. That's what it was in that time. But you have to, as a guide, go and look up the latest stats. Every year you go, all you need to do is like print a sheet like this, and you've got all the populations for the provinces at hand every year. So they haven't issued the 23rd one, and also they haven't published the latest census. So when census 2022 is issued, then you will also use that. You can then when you mention stats, you need to say census. So 23 says 22 said this. The mid-year estimates is this. That's why statistics is very important, because guides, they just Google and they get facts that are not right. So that's why we did the
That-
stats as well. Please, you have to take note of that.
Yeah,
Just
you
quickly.
know, with regards to your feedback, I thought I was.
You were? Hello?
I'm saying with regards to what's this, the feedback you sent, I thought I was gonna give myself some time to wrap up what I was doing first, and then now I can just go and have time with it, like a right proper time with it. I didn't wanna rush the thing, hence I haven't really gone deep in it, but I've seen the
Yeah, but
highlights here and
it-
there.
yeah, but this is not deep. This is like really basic information. So I have to see that you know the basic stuff. But anyway, let's go on. I hear what you're saying. Okay, let's have a look at the geography. Um, can you explain what you're seeing here in terms of the Western Cape? Can you explain this? Give me notes about the geography, mountains and things of Western Cape and its location.
You mean like explain the mountains,
Just
or
talk to me about
I'm
this.
not.
Talk to me about the Western Cape in context of this this illustration in terms of the mountains and the
Okay,
location.
because Lucien, the way it is like this, what I know about the geography, the Western Cape is like an L-shaped. I'm just, as I said, I'm not good in looking at maps, but in my knowledge of studying, and now if you say I must explain the geography of it all,
Yeah, you
one
can.
thing I would say the Western Cape.
Yeah, I just put the maps here, not to confuse you, but just to help you explain. But you can explain your notes as you know it. You don't need to interpret the map because you've studied this anyway. Yes. Okay.
Oh,
Talk to
okay.
me.
No, what I know, it is in the L shape, and it is extending in the north, and it is about like 400 kilometers northwards, and it is right in the point of what's this? Lord of mercy, I can't cram that much, but the L-shaped part that I'm talking about goes through the north, and then from the Cape of Good Hope. But in the what's this? Oh God, Maria. I don't know how to approach this question. I have the information, but I don't know how to
Okay,
approach it.
but just tell me about the Great Escarpment. Okay, talk to me about the location. Okay, you've now said it's an L shape. What is the positioning in South Africa? Is it north, west? What is significant about its position in terms of the location? If you just look at it, where is it located? Is it west, east, north? Where is it located? Or what is significant about it?
Oh, okay. Well, it is like eastwards in the Atlantic.
Okay,
That's the
if I ask you what's the most, if I'd say to you Cape Point and Cape Agulhas, what can you now say or talk about the Western Cape? How would you describe it? What can you tell me about, let's say, Cape Agulhas? If I say Cape Agulhas, what comes to mind?
okay. With the Cape Agulhas, that is now in the southmost point. Right in the
Okay.
southmost point is the Cape Agulhas. That's what comes into my mind.
Okay,
And
that's
it is
good.
like
Okay, that's fine.
Yes,
So what I'm trying to get
and it will be around about 3,900, if not 4,000 kilometers from the Atlantic coastline.
what is what are you saying? Just repeat that.
The Cape Agulhas, as it is in a in that point, it is also about 3,900 kilometers, if not 4,000 kilometers from what is from the Atlantic coastline. Atlantic coastline.
Now, what does that mean, Alex? Can you explain to me what that means? What do you meaning by that? If you're saying 3,900, because Agulhas is on the coast. So what is this 4,000 meters, square kilometers, kilometers mean? Do you see that doesn't make sense?
Yes.
So that's why I don't want you to
Okay.
copy things out of books, because if you don't understand it, so this is why I'm going through the notes with you in this manner. So I want you to gain more understanding, because we can read things, but it doesn't always make sense to us. So when we talk about Cape Agulhas, it's the most southernmost point. If we say Cape Point, what can you talk to me about that? And what is also significant about the most southern point?
The most southern
Of Cape Agulhas,
point.
what
Would
can
it
you also
not be
tell? What can you also tell people about the most southern point? That's the place where what happens.
Is it not the place where the oceans meet, the two oceans meet?
Yes, that's good. So that's the place where the two oceans meet. If we say Cape Point,
And don't we have in terms of this where we are now, somewhere there don't we have the sedimentary rocks?
yeah, we have there are sedimentary rocks. Yeah, the sandstone and quartzite. Yes.
The sandstones, yes.
Okay, tell me about Cape Point.
The Cape Point.
So Cape Point is
Come
this
on,
little
Alex,
point
what
here.
can
You
you
see
say
that
about the Cape?
in the peninsula.
In
Okay,
the,
we'll get
yes,
that.
I see.
Okay, we'll get back to that. Let me just cough. Sorry, Alex.
It's a cold season. People are bound to cough.
Okay, let me just quickly see here. Okay, Alex, let's go on. Let me ask you another. Let's go to a new slide. Okay, let's go back here. Just quickly, can you remember the topography of South Africa? How would you explain it to clients? Because this is also relevant to the Eastern Cape. So this section here, what is it referred to? Section north or inside of the Great Escarpment. Remember, there was that upside down saucer. What is this section? The interior of South Africa is what is it?
Maria, I'll have to jog my memory on that.
Okay, so that is
I just
yeah.
I prepared everything in writing and all that, but I do remember we had to put a source and then to do the topographic map of South Africa.
Yeah, because I gave you that geography to go through. So this is the interior plateau giving rise to a series of mountains, the Great Escarpment, and then dropping down to a coastal lowland. And you can notice that most of the Western Cape lies within this coastal lowland. Can you see that? If we go back to the previous, where is it now? The previous, oh, this is the one, you'll see it now. So it's a coastal lowland. So we can expect that apart from the mountains, it's fairly low in the Western Cape. We have already determined that it lies in the southwestern corner of South Africa, and it also is the most southern, it contains the most or the southernmost point in South Africa and in Africa at Agulhas. I think it's about here. Can you see that? That's where Agulhas is. That is Cape Point. So when you look at a map, and this is why I say you need to understand it, because then it makes sense. Then you can understand the Western Cape. So basically, it is within the coastal lowland, and there are mountains, we already know, the Great Escarpment and the Cape Fold Mountains. And then it stretches a little bit north of the Great Escarpment. So that is part of the Great Karoo. So that's why, you know, we can study all these things and try to memorize it, but it becomes a lot. So that's why I want you to understand it, because then it will be much easier to remember. Okay, let's have a look here. Let's do this. So if we look at the Great Escarpment, can you tell me about, okay, let me just explain this to you. So you can see the Great Escarpment. It's like that rim on a saucer. It stretches all the way from Zim through South Africa up to even into Angola. And the Drakensberg, you already know, forms a big part of it, starting in Limpopo, going through Mpumalanga, KZN, Lesotho, Eastern Cape. And then we see it picks up on mountains in the Eastern Cape and Western Cape called the Winterberge or the Amatola, Sneeuwberg, Hampton, Roggeveld, Nieuweveld, Namakwaland, Richtersveld. So these are all mountains in the Western Cape, Western and Eastern Cape here to the right, that forms part of the Great Escarpment. Do you see that? Okay, so those mountains form part of the Great Escarpment, and we cross it. When we're driving from Cape Town to Johannesburg, we cross not only the Cape Fold Mountains, the Tortoise Kloof and Hex River Valley, but we also cross these the Great Escarpment. And then we're in the Karoo. Usually when you've crossed the Great Escarpment, you're in the Nama Karoo, or the Great Karoo, as we say. So just remember that when you're driving, then you already know this is your biomes, and this is when you cross this Great Escarpment. So that being said, because Cape Town is, or Western Cape is also very famous for its mountains. So what is the difference?
Mountains,
Can you explain me?
You know,
Yeah?
with me, not only now, but understanding myself, I always said this week, I want to put it that way, weak spot when it comes to understanding the maps on their layouts. So what I normally do when I prepare for them, I take everything and then I put it into writing. And like when it comes to maps like this, then I would take it and put it into a satellite viewing. That is where I get at least the most clue. Then I will put it rather in writing, comparing it with the satellite thingy. That's just me. I'm not saying anything. That's just me. When it comes to maps, I'm not that great. I will see the map being there, but not only if I have to follow a Google map somewhere.
But if you have it in writing, you can talk about the Great Escarpment. Okay, let's close this one, and then I can ask you questions without showing it to you. But in my mind, if you can't read the map, or you don't know what the Great Escarpment is, or the Cape Fold Mountains, I mean, you've got it in your notes. So we don't need to interpret the map. What I've done now, the questions I've asked you, you have researched it and written it down. So when I ask you about the mountains in the Cape, you should have noticed when you studied it, there are different types. There are the Cape Fold Mountain and those forming part of the Great Escarpment. So that's the first distinction you need to make when you make your studies. And this is why, if you start on a map, you can already see the difference. It gives you the clues. It says Great Escarpment, Cape Fold Mountains. Okay, talk to me then about the Cape Fold Mountains. Let me close this, then it doesn't confuse you. We'll get back to it. Talk to me about the Cape Fold Mountains. You've done your research notes on that. Am I right?
Yes, I have done all the research notes that are filled on my template in the presentation. I feel like now I need to open my presentation somehow.
But is it? I don't want you to read those notes because it's not a presentation. It's not reading from the notes. I think we misunderstood each other when we spoke about the presentation because a presentation is not there's all the words. You see how I'm asking you questions because if it's a knowledge questionnaire, I need to. You now went and you did the coat of arms. Okay, you wrote it down. So all I'm doing now is I'm asking you the question. So what makes it easier than the exam is that you've got a picture, it's more tailor-made, you can answer, but it's still the same questions. Do you understand?
That would.
It's still, so knowledge cannot be based on, because I looked at your PowerPoint and we can't use it for assessment because all the information is on there. How can I know if you know the things if you 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 know everything is written down, because a presentation is usually visual images for people and then you talk about it. So this is what I thought we're going to do, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, we can't use your presentation because it's already all the information is on there. I can't
Okay.
I can't see.
No. Uh,
You understand? Okay.
yeah,
uh
I see. I see. And then.
Okay, so can you talk to me about, okay, so here is a map of yet another map of the Eastern Cape. Uh, so talk to me
Western
about
Cape.
Cape Fold Mountains. What are the Cape Fold Mountains? How were they formed? Mentions a few of them.
Cape Fold Mountains, 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 mountains.
Okay, Alex, so you are now looking on your notes. Okay, let's leave that for a moment. Let's go on. Tell me about the weather.
Can we please skip this geographical side and then
Okay,
come back to it or do a presentation on it some other time, please? I don't think I'm that prepared when it comes to it, honestly.
okay. So what is the weather, what is the climate like in the Western Cape? Generally, it's
The
known as,
climate of the
what is the
Western
general
Cape.
climate? Hmm?
Okay, well, the general climate of the Western Cape, namely, like when it's on the winter seasons, there's
Okay,
most rainfall and cold fronts. That's between,
okay.
I could say, from late or mid-May, June, July, up to maybe the end of July, beginning of August. They have a cold fronts followed by a lot of rainfalls.
And
It's
does it snow?
normally
And does it snow?
windy.
Yeah.
It's normally windy, and there's this place behind this mountain. It does not snow within the CBD, the central side of Cape Town, up to the Cape Point, but it does snow in some parts. I'm forgetting the name of this mountain, but after that mountain, it does snow in the
Okay.
Western Cape. That's the,
Okay. So Alex, that's fine. So it's a Mediterranean climate. So right, it's a winter. It's like Europe. So it's a winter climate. And
yeah.
then also what you can mention is the forest biome, the forest. There are not many of it. Here in Tsitsikamma, it's all year round. That's why you get those beautiful lush
Mhm.
forests, because the rainfall.
Yeah, that's where I was coming now again.
Okay.
So, coming to the summer season of the Western Cape again, from let's say mid-August, not really August, but mid-August towards the end when approaching the spring season, up, and then that is where you get your sunny season, but it's kind of mild because it is not dry. And from the Western Cape, especially the Cape Town side, the Cape Point, it is also windy, moisturized by the coast. But coming to the garden route, the entire of the garden route, uh, the weather there, whether being summer or winter, it is always that mild and having its moisture. That is why it's forever green. It doesn't dry out. It's forever green and gloaming with the garden.
Okay, so in short, that's all year round. Good, Alex. Wonderful. You've done that. Let's see. Well presented. Then let's have a look. Okay, so this we're going to skip for now. Cape Fold Mountain. Can you talk to me about the rivers? Or not now?
The rivers. Um,
Anything you
I
want to mention?
know the rivers by names. Sorry.
Okay, let me ask you a question about the river. The Bergrivier, what is it well known for? It's known for an event.
The Bergrivier. And I don't think I have researched that. I don't
Okay,
think I have studied on
okay,
that.
so you will go and look up what is it very famous for? It's for
Can
famous
you?
for an event.
I'm sorry. I just want to write that down, please, if you don't mind.
Bergrivier, Bergrivier. It's like something that happens.
Bergrivier.
Okay, so
Did not Upville take place in one of those rivers?
what take place?
Upville and displacement.
What?
The one of the wars in the Upvilles and displacement. I don't want to say the Mfectane War, but something did take place there, and it was one
No,
of the outbreaks of wars.
it's a sports event. No, it didn't take place. The Western Cape, the Difficon, Mifficon, it basically took place in KwaZulu up and spread out towards the north, the Free State and the Old Transvaal, or what we know as Gauteng, Mpumalanga, and northwest and Free State, and then some of the Xhosas they moved down to the Western Cape during that to the Eastern Cape, or some of the Zulus moved to the Eastern Cape, and some of the Xhosas in the Eastern Cape moved into the Karoo area and Western Cape. But anyway, so that's not history, part of the history. You will go and look it up. Okay, let me ask you.
Yeah, I just.
Okay, the Little Karoo region in the Cape, what is it known for? Do you have any idea? Just say yes or
The
no.
Karoo region in the. For now, I think might have to go back to it, but I did research that as well.
Okay, Karoo region.
And thing is, now I don't want to keep going to the notes. That will just
Yeah, no, that's better.
make it like I don't know what I'm doing.
Let's not waste time. So let's just ask the questions, and then I do the spot checks and we see how it goes. Okay, let's go on to the next slide. Okay, let me talk. You did the one on the biomes. What is the major biome in the Western Cape?
The major biome in the Western Cape is not it the fynbos?
Yeah, it's fynbos. It is the fynbos. You're right. This is this blue area. And what is the main plants in this biome? What is, if you say fynbos, you associate it with what is the plants?
What do we have then in our fynbos? What are the name of these three now?
Okay,
fynbos.
okay.
Forgetting
The main, yeah.
The fynbos thingy. I don't know the names of the plant, but it has mostly plants people use for most remedies. So you would find your aloe there, wouldn't you?
Not really, but okay.
And the spear form.
It was actually very easy, Alex, because just a tricky question. I won't penalize you for this. Fynbos is well known for because of the fynbos that covers, it's the majority of the plants in this biome is fynbos. So that's why, it's easy. Fynbos is fynbos, but this forms part of the Cape Floral.
Don't play with me like this. I'm under pressure here.
No, I know. Don't worry. Because I've noticed that you're still battling with your biomes when you did that thing. Okay, so the fynbos biome forms
Yeah.
part of the Cape Floral Kingdom. Can you talk to me? Did you read up on the Cape Floral Kingdom? Because it was part of what you needed to read up. Can you talk to me about the Cape Floral Kingdom, maybe its significance? It mustn't be confused with the biome. The biome is a certain region with fynbos. Can you talk to me about Cape Floral Kingdom?
Cape Floral Kingdom. I don't wanna lie.
Okay, no problem. Let's go on. That's good. Don't worry. I like it when you're.
Wait, I just need to know that as well.
Okay, I've got it here in your notes. So tell me, what other biomes do you find in the Western Cape? Can you remember?
Other biomes you'd find in the Western
Like this big orange
Cape,
areas
there
is,
would. Won't that be the succulent karoo?
yes, succulent karoo. And what else?
You mean all the biomes? I thought you were talking about that one.
No,
Because you have
okay,
your
so the
succulent
oranges,
karoo in the Western Cape.
and this brown area, what do you call that? What biome is that?
The brown one. Okay, let me just list some biomes that are in the Western Cape. We have the Namakaroo, and then we'd have your forest.
Yeah, but what is the brown
Because
thing?
now putting them on map is a bit playing
Yeah,
around with me.
okay, that's fine. The thing is, Alex, if you cannot place it on a map, then it doesn't have, and you don't have understanding. Remember what I've pointed out. Can I just point it out?
I think I need to make a task where I just do some map work and then pinning these things, because
You know what, Alex?
I don't know how we can.
If you have a map like this, now, and okay, so you can use you can see here is like a legend. So it already tells you this brown is the Namakaroo. So now you notice, okay, that's the northeastern part of the province is Namakaroo. So immediately you know what it will look like there. What can you expect in the Namakaroo? It will be sheep farming, basically. And it's dry. Beaufort West, that's where the heart specialist Chris Barnard was born. There's a museum for him. This green area is the National Karoo National Park, also very famous. So then you look at the region and you see the towns will be far apart here because it's a dry region with sheep farming and that. And also remember, I told you the Great Escarpment will come here at the bottom. You can see, most probably you'll see it when you superimpose it onto another map, that the Great Escarpment will probably follow this line. Can you see it when I move my mouse? Can you see it?
Yeah.
If we look, just let me quickly go back to the Great Escarpment. You see, so we can see here, no, that's not a good one. Here's the Great Escarpment, and that part of the Northern Cape is more, the Western Cape is about here, lies about here, just north of the Great Escarpment. Do you understand? So you have your mountains, and as soon as you cross the mountain, you come into the interior plateau, which is then the Central Karoo. This part would be the Northern Cape. That's also Namakaroo. This is Namakaroo. Remember that big part of of South Africa. Let me just show you this again. You see, if you cross the mountains, this is all Namakaroo. Do you see that? So part of it would be in the Western Cape, some part will be in the Eastern Cape, but the majority will be here in Northern Cape. So when you understand that, you know, as remember I said, as soon as you cross this, as soon as you cross the Great Groot Swartberg, then you're in the Namakuru region. Now
In the Namakari,
the Western Cape doesn't have a large, well, it's quite significant, but it's basically when you drive with the N1 from Cape Town up to Joburg, you will drive across some Cape Town mountains,
West and
across the Great Escarpment into the Namakuru, or here they also call it a regional name of Central Karoo. We'll talk about that now. You cross over, you drive through this dry area. It is dry now because it's space, it's bushes, sheep farming. So it's very different from what lies to the south and west of the Great Escarpment. Because remember, mountains influences climate. So when,
climate,
because it can prevent the clouds from going over and raining on this side. So the clouds, they rise up to the mountains and then it starts raining. It doesn't cross the mountains usually. Or you understand, it has an influence on climate and rain. Yes, Alex, you were saying?
Climate, Okay, so I'm trying to figure out in that the region, then we cannot have or expect a fynbos, for example.
No. So what you must understand, Alex, and I can see you still don't understand the concept really of biomes. So what happens? South Africa's got 9 provinces. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah, 9 provinces. But we all, which is divided according to mostly, boundaries by rivers or by the groupings that live there, like Northwest is mostly Tswana, KwaZulu-Natal mostly, or Zulus. So it's also aligned according to the population group, the majority, but biomes is defined by the climate, and basically by the climate, also by the soil, and then the associated plants. Like we've said, now you see this blue section here, that is the fynbos. That is a biome. We've already said it's in the coastal lowland, so we can see altitude plays a role. There's you've mentioned sedimentary rock, but it's also lots of sand in this area, and the dominant vegetation here are fynbos. So along with the fynbos, we also have we've got your proteas, restios like reeds, and then there are ericas. So these are the 3 main plant groups that you will find within this vegetation group. Don't get confused too much. But if I say fynbos biome, you immediately know the vegetation you will find is fynbos. In the Namakuru, yeah, that is easy to remember. And then fynbos, that's where you find your proteas, your ericas, and your reeds. But then when you go to the Namakuru, it totally looks different. So here we've said already, in the Western Cape, it's got a Mediterranean or winter rainfall. But when we cross the mountains, the Central Karoo or the Namakuru, it gets rain in the summer, but the rainfall is much lower. It is located higher than this section, because if you remember, when we look at that's why I take an upside down saucer and practice it until you understand it. So this interior part is higher than this part, the coastal lowlands. Can you see? So, and the thing that divides these 2 regions are these mountains. Do you see that?
Mountains, yeah.
Called the Great Escarpment. So South Africa is actually, it's easy to explain our topography, because here where we are in the interior, Johannesburg and Pretoria, it's part of the interior plateau. We are very high, Johannesburg is about 1,700 meters, while in PE, or now it might be, I've forgotten what's the height, but it's not higher above sea level. Am I right? And that
No,
also,
it's not above sea level.
yeah, yeah,
When you go out of the PE to
yeah.
Queenstown side, going up, then you're starting to be out of the sea level, but not in PE.
But you don't rise too high unless you get to the Great Escarpment, the Amatola, the Winterberg, the Drakensberg. When you get to that region, it's much
Yeah,
higher.
hence I'm saying when you're approaching the Queenstown side, my hometown,
Okay, yeah,
then you're going up high because remember, Queenstown is in a Chris district, way past Amatola and all that. So you are
yeah,
now getting above the sea level.
yes. So I want you to notice. So according to the height above sea level, the climate type. So we know this is Mediterranean, while Port Elizabeth is summer rainfall. No? This is a summer,
Mhm.
more summer rainfall. And then when we get to the interior, it's also summer rainfall, summer rainfall. And then just a few places in South Africa, like the forest areas, they are all year round. Lots of moisture, but also raining throughout the year. That's why you've got these big forests. So if you can understand that the topography or the landscape or the mountain features, if you wish, it plays a role on what type of vegetation you will get, because that is influenced by the amount of rain and when we get rain. So if you can keep
When
that
do we
in
get
mind.
rain?
So when
Well,
we look at South Africa, let me just quickly get that one presentation, because I deleted that one in the beginning. I just want to show you one more thing. Then, oh, I hope I'm not deleting my PowerPoints. Let me
please,
just,
whilst you are still looking
yeah,
there, I have just a quick question to ask. Whilst you are still
yeah,
might be a bit off topic, but I really think it is. You see what's happening with the weather this year.
yeah,
I think there is a bit of a change or something happening in the climax. Johannesburg recently experienced snow, which it has not experienced in years. I'm not sure if I'm correct there, but it's been a while since, I think over a decade or something, since I've heard
yeah.
someone speaking of a snow taking place in a Johannesburg region. And
But that,
then
yeah,
now, okay, and then now with that again, normally upon my observation of things, normally when we get to a snow season, that normally clears out for a spring season. And with the weather thing, after that snow, PE had a very cold front, and now it's the weather is just calm. It's like we are experiencing our summer season. We just have maybe a coldish mornings, but throughout the day, you'd see people in the beach. It's like we're experiencing our summer season, and that's way too early because we've been approached a lot. So, don't you think something happened with the climax or something this year, or a change?
yeah, but you know what? It's not so unusual. I've listened to a professor talk about the weather changes. Like in Gauteng, we only get snow every decade or so. It's normal for us. The snow, when it occurs, is abnormal for us in general, because we don't get that frequently. But um, when yeah, but it is normal to only get snow every 10 years or so. So I think there might be
Mm,
climate change, although this is the cycle of the world, it changes, and they want us to believe that climate change is very bad for us. It's a new world order type of push towards making us scared and letting go of things that keeps us alive. But yeah, in general, yeah, it's normal. We do get, like, here we we don't usually get rain in the winter, but we did have a little bit of rain. And it's a more cold than what usually is, but it happens every few years. It changes because of the influence of different weather phenomena. So, but yes, it is. This year is abnormal relating to what we usually get, but it's not necessarily abnormal. If you get what I'm saying, to get snow every 10
Yeah,
years
no, I
only. People try to run away with it, but it's not all true. So just keep that in mind too. But Alex, okay, let me quickly explain this to you, because
okay, yeah.
for me, if you can understand biomes and how things are divided, and if you can carry this map with you and look at it so often, I'm going to send you this presentation that I made with the map so you can revisit it. But if you look at this, I want you to now, here you can see the boundaries of the Western Cape. Can you see that?
Yeah, where your mouse is moving.
Yeah, where the mouse is moving, that is the Western Cape boundaries. Okay. And then we've already said that the Great Escarpment, it crosses the Western Cape. Can you see? So it slides through this section. Some part of the Namakuru is still on the left. That is the Little Karoo. That's where Oudtshoorn is located. And this is more a mild region of the Namakuru. And then you can see around this area how it continues. So there is a bit of Great Escarpment. And like I said, when you leave Cape Town and you drive to Joburg, can you see we cross the Great Escarpment into the Namakuru? I think the road goes like this because this is the
Yeah, this makes sense.
And there we go we drive through the Northern Cape Free State up to Gauteng. Have you ever driven this road? The N1.
For me, I would take this road when I'm in my hometown, Queenstown. I would go via what's this, Alwal North, pass now through Free State using the N1. We pass Bloemfontein up to Johannesburg.
Okay, but then if we look now, here is now your province, nah? And you can see also the Namakuru, some parts of your province falls within it, and there's the Great Escarpment running through your province. So basically what happens, you drive through here, Queenstown, up to Aliwal North, nah? Yeah, we're in the Karoo region.
Yes.
When you get here, you can see how the landscape changes. I think Queenstown is already, there's a lot of aloe still. It's more, I've forgotten exactly the surroundings there, but you remember then it becomes drier, that towards Aliwal North, and then.
Not yet gets dry.
Sorry? Yeah, Aliwal
I'm
North.
saying it gets dry. In fact, it gets dry the moment you leave Queenstown, because Queenstown is also dry when you're coming to the side of Alwal North, like going up that side.
Okay, but what you must do is go and superimpose important towns onto this map. I think this is a good departure point for you. Just look roughly on a Eastern Cape map. Where would you put Queenstown? Where would you put PE? Where would you put Aliwal North? And then when you think of that picture and just use this map, it will give you you will gain more understanding what I'm trying to tell you. Because if you can click this, Alex, you will be way ahead of any other guide, way ahead of many guides, because they don't understand this concept. Once you understand this, you can logically figure out things as you go along, because then you learn certain things and you can just add things to that basis. So this is why biomes is very important. But let's get back to the Western Cape. So we've indicated here are the boundaries. You see that. And if we look, let me just take this one. You see, what we can do is let me do this. Maybe let me cut this and put it here. Then I find it easier when we compare it, put it next to each other. Can you see? Okay, this is now a big one.
Stuff.
Okay, let me just make it a bit smaller. Can you see, to me, you can say if I'm wrong, to me, this looks a little bit like either a bird flying with a big beak. Can you see that? There's the wings and there's the tail. Or it could be a crocodile that's doing a dive, you know, I don't know, with the tail in the... Anyway.
Yeah, but the blue, the fine boss section would be like your wings.
Yes, like your wings. And then the tail would be the succulent karoo, because, you know, often... So yes, we can make this a big albatross, for instance. And so if you look at it, maybe it's a good thing to do it. So the head of this, you know, an albatross. Let me just get, because I think if you can remember this, I think you are a visual person, but maybe you don't always know how to apply it. So I'm going to show you. I just want to try.
Look, for now, for example, now when you are presenting this information, it's information that is in my head. I feel like I can just snap and say this and that, but I don't know how to start or where to put it. So you're very correct on that one.
Yeah, so this is why I want to help you get this thing in your mind. Let me just see the albatross. I'm going to take a picture because I think this animal will help you. So we'll say the Western Cape is like an albatross, and then you will start understanding it better. Let me just do this. Let's see if this makes sense. I like to use symbols because, okay, you see the albatross. If it opens the beak, it's a big beak. And then the head is not quite, but so if we say...
Can one have this as a pet?
Not really. I don't think so. But you might have. It's a big bird. But if you look at this albatross, let's say it's flying, and let's just pretend. Can you see the beak and the neck up to that section? Can you see that is the namakuru?
Yeah.
And then if we look at this wing and the body, basically is the fynbos. And then if we look at the tail, we can't see the tail so very well, but here you can see it. You see the tail there. It's a bit big tail. That is succulent karoo, and the other wing. So that like the top part, some of it is succulent karoo, but for the most of the body, and the right wing is fynbos.
The right wing, that will be.
Will you remember this? So if Western Cape was a bird flying, albatross, the head and the neck would be is a namakuru. You can see this. You can see that. Then the wing to the right and the body, the bottom, will be a you just need to use your, it's a bit of a lump-sided bird. Then that would be the fynbos. And then the tail, you know, this fluffy bit, that's the succulent karoo, which is, you know, like a peacock, or some of the birds, their tails or feathers are beautiful, especially the male, to attract attention. Now, in the display in this region, the succulent karoo, that flower display annually, is attracting so many tourists. So maybe you can think of that. And the right wing, the left wing, is also succulent karoo. Can you see that? Just to make it easier. Okay, so that being said, if you can remember this bird and compare it, if you think at the biomes, make a story for yourself, Alex. I think what you should do, a lot of things is in your head, and you gain a lot of information and you're very excited about it. But when it comes to sharing that information, you find it a bit difficult. It's like it's all there, but you can't get to it.
All just when it comes out at once and I don't know how to put it in plain.
Yes. So this is why I want you to talk to yourself. I'm going to send you this presentation. Talk to yourself and explain it. So you could say to tourists, just imagine the Western Cape Oh, this could be also a sea lion, maybe. I don't know, but it looks, I don't know. I thought of an albatross.
It's way better. I'm understanding it way better when you're doing with this,
Yeah.
because this cute little bird here.
So you can go and see what animal it reminds you of. I just thought of an albatross flying because of the beak and a little bit of the tail. But if you can think of it,
And the way
and you,
it's spread.
and you say to yourself, imagine a bird flying with its tail a little bit up like an L shape, in an L shape. You did that very well. Now, the head of this albatross and the neck is the namakuru. The right wing and most of the body is fynbos, and then the tail and the left wing, and around the neck, you can see it's like a ring around the neck, is
Like
also
a ring there, yeah.
succulent karoo.
Succulent. In.
And when you've got that, you will always remember, okay, this is how the Western Cape looks like. So this is what I want you to do. If you know the biomes and you can describe each province, and what I'm teaching you now is something you will apply for each province. For instance, Limpopo is very easy. It's just one brown blob. So that's easy to remember. It's the savanna with a little bit of grassland. Free State also is easy. Mpumalanga. When we get to your province, it's very complicated. Western Cape is very complicated, but you can use something like this to make it easier for you to remember.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at that. So we understand now the different regions, and now you need to understand why. Because if you draw a line, the Great Escarpment, it goes through half of the neck or the head of this albatross. And we've said now the top part falls within the interior plateau, which is then higher. Okay, obviously here it's higher, but it's higher than here, than the coastal plain. So this is then the Namakuru. Can you see on this map? It's orange, this light color, khaki or whatever, cream. It's Namakuru.
Yeah.
Okay, in your province, Free State, Western Cape and Northern Cape has the most of Northern Cape is Namakuru. When we cross the Great Escarpment, and it's not so dramatic as the Drakensberg, we are now in, it's still part of the Namakuru, but also if we cross the Cape Fold Mountains, we'll have a look at now the Swartberge, we'll get to the Little Karoo. Let me just show you this. Maybe you see here. Can you see this little karoo here that I asked you about? Okay, so now we can see in the Western Cape, it's not so clear on this one, but we've already spoken about the head of this animal, which is not now clear on this one, with the Great Escarpment, with part of it in the on the coastal lowland and part of it higher up, past the Great Escarpment. And then within that region, we've got the Little Karoo that is much more milder. Can you see? Because it's further away from this section and it's sort of the southern outskirts. So the climate there will be more rain. It's much more milder, but it's still part of the Namakuru.
So even though it's still a karoo, but it is milder than the Great Karoo.
Yeah, it is. So it will be milder, and there will also be fynbos. I think, or that could even, we will go and see what the biomes are. But you can see I want you to get at the climate here is not the same as here. It's not as harsh. And just because it's further south, it's to the south of the Great Escarpment, yes, some other Cape Fold Mountains. It lies between two mountain ranges, the Swartberge, but we'll chat about that. I just wanted you to make a distinction between regions. So let's get back to this one. Yeah, so this is how you will know the difference, or that you can break up your province according to biomes, because biomes will tell you what they grow there, what is the climate, what is the dominant vegetation. So you can expect if you drive here, it's going to be mainly bushes, short little bushes and sheep farming, usually here. While here you can expect that typical fynbos plants with, it's basically not so much trees except here for the forest area when you go to Tsitsikamma, that area.
Tikama, yeah, that's the
Yeah,
forest
and
area,
then
yeah.
also the mountains, they also have their indigenous forests and that sort of thing. But for most of it, it's not lots of trees unless it's planted trees like plantations, which is not natural. But if you think of the Western Cape, like the winelands, there are trees, but the trees were planted. It's not naturally growing then. But it's more
Mm.
plains, it's open, or it's got mountains with sandstone and that sort of thing. So I just want you to get the picture. When you've got a time, go and look at pictures of these different regions, of different places in
Different
the
places in
Western
this
Cape,
region.
just to get an idea. Because then when you're driving with your clients from Cape Town to PE, what biome are you driving through? Mainly. Yeah, we got
From straight
Cape Town it is. You're going along the coast. What is the biome here?
along the coast. So we are driving right through the fynbos.
It's a fynbos with forest. Can you see that? So you're
Oh,
driving around,
yeah,
and
we
then
have that
even
forest part
up
there.
and even up to,
And then we have some, yeah, it's forest, yeah. No,
yeah, the
yeah,
forest is
I'm getting a
basically,
glimpse of this.
you're getting a glimpse. Okay, this green one actually is Albany thicket.
That would be the grassland there.
That yeah. So the Albany thicket is a very prominent biome in the Eastern Cape. When you did the Eastern Cape, we didn't focus so much on it because I didn't want to overwhelm you. I just wanted you to get going with it. But trust me, if you're going to get into biomes and talk to yourself about it, you are going to love it because it will make so much sense to you and to your clients. So when we look here at the green here, the Albany thicket, you see it's dark green. It doesn't really
Dark
occur
green,
in
yeah.
other provinces. It's mostly in the Eastern Cape
In the
and a
Eastern Cape,
little
yeah.
bit in the Western Cape, even up here, a little bit of Albany thicket. So what the Albany thicket is, it's like a short forest. So the trees are not very high. If you think Ada and those places, the trees don't grow that high, but it's very thick bush.
Yeah,
The elephant loves it.
I wanted to give you an example of
Okay.
Ado, where they don't even have what's this giraffes because they can't bend that low. The trees they don't grow that high. That is the Albany ticket. We have it also in mountain zebra.
Yeah. A section there. So you've been to both reserves.
Yes, we have that section in mountain zebra, and I know this ticket biome this Albany back from home as well, where we take our kettles. We have kettles at home. So the vegetation where we take our kettles in my home village, we don't have large trees. It's always like those small trees, and the grass is not so tall.
Yeah.
So
So
I
what?
know that biome.
Okay, so you have a good feeling about it. You described it well. So it's short trees, 2 to 3 meters maximum. And then it says thicket. So thicket means it's thick bush. It's dense. So I think
Yeah.
you've noticed when you walk some areas it's thick bush. It's bush, small trees, but it's more dense. While when we get to the savannah, also have trees, but it's sparsely. It's not thick and bushy like the Albany thicket. Also, the difference between the
Mm.
Albany thicket and the forest, because I saw you made a mistake there on your notes, is the forest. If you think about the Knysna forest, those trees are very tall, isn't it? They go very
Yes,
high. if you compare it to the Albany thicket, so Albany thicket, savanna, and forest are all described due to the presence of trees, but like with Albany thicket and forest, there's a canopy. So there's a top part. It forms a forest. But the difference between Albany thicket and forest is Albany thicket trees are very low, 2 to 3 meters, not very high. While forest, they can go up to 40, plus. But it forms a canopy. So when you walk in a forest, you know what it's like in a forest. There's not so much
Okay.
on the
So
bottom.
now,
Yeah. Hmm?
okay, I see. Because if I'm driving from the garden route, I get this what you're talking about now, the forest, because they use those trees for timber and stuff. Coming down to what's this place now again? Jopetina, been there, and also
Yeah.
in the Eastern Cape here, we would have that in the coast coming from Port Elizabeth going to East London.
East London, you
Just
can
when
see
you
that.
pass, yeah.
And then when you go up on the on the end towards Mtata, then you can see it's bushveld. It changes again. It's more open grassland with it's savanna. Actually, the word is savanna. Bushveld, don't let me confuse you. Savanna is the grassland with trees, but not like Albany thicket and the forest. It's not as dense. They've got trees. But if you drive here, there's more trees. And then when you go close to the coast, it's another biome called the Indian Ocean Belt, which makes Eastern Cape and KZN very unique, because this one just comes to the Kai River along, you see it blue, little blue up here, and then it long stretch about KZN. So that's a very unique biome. So this one, they say, is like a mixture of grassland, savanna, and forests. So this is very unique. They've newly proclaimed this biome. But
So you say it's a mixture of?
it's in that biome thing, savanna. It's a part of, some of it is savanna, grassland, and forests. So you will know along this KZN coast, and on the Transkei coast how beautiful it is there. So that is your Indian Ocean coastal belt. While a little bit in the interior where the N2 still passes through, it's savanna, and there you find your cattle farmers. This region is there's a lot of cattle farming going on. And then further to the east and north is grassland. So when you get higher up, Yugi, no, not Yugi, what's it, Rhodes, those places, this area is grassland.
Those of Mount Frey and...
Yes. But do you see that, Alex? What I want you to start noticing when you're driving, how the landscape changes. Then ask yourself, which biome am I driving in? There's only 9 to choose from. The desert biome, don't need to worry, because it's only here. Can you see here in the northern part of the country? This part on the border of Namibia. That's how small the desert biome is in South Africa. The forest is also very small, just bits of pieces. But these are the major biomes. So if you can learn this 7 and how to distinguish them, you already know the forest. You would know if you're in a forest, because it's Tsitsikamma. There are not many forests. If you go up Limpopo, KwaZulu-Natal, those places, you'll find forests, indigenous forests, not plantations, not planted. Okay, so even, and what's so amazing for you in the Eastern Cape is around PE, there are 5 or 7 types of biomes. So you will notice it varies a lot. Maybe people don't notice it, but you already now know the Albany thicket. Check out the fynbos. You see this pink is the succulent karoo. And in the and so, during springtime, there will be flowers, not as prevalent as it is here on the West Coast, but These, you could expect nice flowers here. And then you can see the Namakuru, that is drier, which you've noticed, grasslands, savanna, and what is this one? Indian Ocean. And you've got some forest, Amatola. So you, in Eastern Cape, I call it the all-in-one province because you have all 9, 8, you've got 8 biomes out of the 9 in Eastern Cape. No other province has that. So that's why I've always put Eastern Cape on top of my list because of the variety of scenery, diversity in terms of, because of these biomes. Do you see that? So that makes it very interesting if you can talk to people about that and if you understand the biomes. Because then you can already expect what will you find here. So in general, you would know savanna biomes. It's great for cattle farming and game farming. So most of your game reserves will be, especially is here in Limpopo, Mpumalanga. Can you see Kruger? It's in the savanna, even the Kalahari.
Oh, and now the Kruger has got lots of antelopes and big cats.
Yes, and then also when you go up to KwaZulu-Natal, in this section, you will also find most of your big 5 reserves. Here, you see there's a little bit of brown, but it's more Albany thicket, Addo, Kirkwood. Sunday's River Valley is all Albany thicket. So this is a different, like you said, you don't find giraffes there. There's some animals that you won't find.
Yeah, no, you don't.
But so the major game reserves and for hunting, I know Eastern Cape is also good in hunting, but Limpopo is the best place for animals. And Kruger Park is very well known because of its variety. But it's all influenced about what is available to eat for the animals, for using for shelter. And then accordingly, you will find certain animals at certain places, like in Eastern Cape, they have certain animals that you don't find anywhere else because of the vegetation.
Now, on that,
does it make sense to you?
It makes sense. And on this note, and I'm sorry to disturb again on this note, and I'm getting an insight of an entire exciting thing now in these biomes. I never really looked at it this way, but now I see, because we have people that will fly in Cape Town, like clients will fly in Cape Town, and then they will going back to Cape Town. Maybe they will enjoy the Table Mountain National Park.
Yeah.
And all those national parks in Cape Town. But there, when they come from there, they will only speak of the birds they've seen and all that. And those parks are all about birds, the Bondebok. But coming to Eastern Cape, it's when they will expect more of the big 5, the big cats and your elephants, your antelopes.
Yeah, because
so they go to Cape Town, or if they fly in the Eastern Cape, it's when they want to do the safari first. Now go up the garden route to see, I could say, the biomes, the nature now, and obviously the river mouths, your Storms River and all that. Then going to Cape Town, they're going to your Table Mountain, they're going to your Rebon Island, but they will all only speak about the penguins, the birds, the blue crane, and all sorts of birds. But they don't speak much of the big animals. And I see it's because of the biomes, right?
Yes, because in your fynbos biome, I mean, you won't find elephants. I know there's that Aquila game farm. I don't know exactly where it's located. But the Western Cape is not known for its big game, because you can see off the biome. Can you see? If you just look at the map, you will know where's the best place to go and look for animals. So Eastern Cape is good with the Addo Elephant Park, and it's got some nice game reserves, because can you see the diversity in biomes? And then also, and it's more compact. While there's a lot going on here. So this is why I think people like to come here. I never thought of it in that way, because there's a lot packed into a small area. If you look at this, it's a relatively small area, but there's a lot of variety. Well, if you look to the north, you can
Yeah.
see you've got beautiful game parks and the world-renowned Kruger, but you have to drive a bit, and it's far to get there. So this is why I think people prefer to go to the Eastern Cape, because you can see the big five, you can see the big seven. You can also see the big seven around here, St. Lucia, Cape Velvet. The big
Mm-hmm.
seven reserves includes the southern right whale and the big white shark, plus the big five. So
Mm-hmm.
this is why this is so popular. But I think if you can get this under your belt, so it will just make so much sense, Alex. And go, and if you see specific trees all the time, like your aloes is very associated with your Albany thicket. That's why the Eastern Cape is well known for its aloes, and those are associated with Albany thicket. You also find it in Bushveld and this, but the aloes are you see a lot of aloes. It's the Alopherox especially. Um, and then you start looking at what trees do you see. If you learn a tree every time you go on a trip, take photos, make sure, okay, in summer it looks like this, the bark looks like this. Start building up that repertoire. You don't need to do everything at once, and associate it with a biome.
Mm-hmm.
And then know Albany thicket. So if people ask you, you already know. Let me just show you. I just want to see this one. Let me just stop sharing. Sorry, we're now taking time in this, but I think it's important because maybe
No,
what.
no, no. I'm learning something. I'm enjoying this. I'm learning something about the biomes because I've never really analyzed them in a map feature. I've always taken them out of the map and put them theoretically in
Yeah,
writing. So I
so
don't think it gave me that much insight. But now being them in the map, put it like this, it gives me more insight.
yeah, if you can, I think this map here, just either take a screenshot. I'll do that, and put it on your phone and refer to it frequently. The more you're going to look at this, the more it's going to sink in. And the more you're going to associate it with province. So before the end of the year, you will be able to tell me without any doubt, where do we find the grassland? You can see it's like it's the heart of South Africa is covered by grassland. Grassland is soft. Isn't it? Grass is soft. So this is how I remember. You can see the heart of South Africa. The Free State is considered like the most central of all the provinces, even though it doesn't look like it, but there's a way of calculating that. But you can see the heart of South Africa is very soft and green, and then covering it like a
Yeah.
cloak. Can you see? It looks like something is covering it over here, like a cloak over this green area. That's the savanna that's covering the green. So savanna is stronger. It's got more trees. It's more rough.
Like
It's
protecting
drier.
all the green.
You can see, and eventually the green will be covered completely by savanna in many decades. It will change. But for now, it looks like the heart of South Africa is covered by this cloak of savanna. And at the bottom, you can see once again, I'm seeing this animal. You can see little arms there. You can make it a penguin or whatever you want it. And then the stomach, you can see here, is very, very vulnerable. And that is the Namakuru. So when you look at this map, you see this. Can you see that the majority of South Africa is covered in savanna? The heart, this interior is the grassland, which is your
Interior
highest
is the grassland,
rainfall,
yeah.
or apart from the forest. And then the stomach area, the heart is very soft, but the stomach is also very sensitive.
And
That is the Namakuru. This is after
Namakara.
the desert, it's the driest part. And this is just little bushes. So this is why the savanna, I'm making up my own story now, is very protective over the heart of South Africa to keep it so that it doesn't become all Nama, Karoo, because it happens, it becomes, the green becomes brown and the brown becomes Nama eventually, because it's to do with the rainfall. So the drier it gets, and when we disturb the ecology, then this disappears. You can see it. This used to be much more greener. Can you see this patches of green there and everywhere?
Yeah, those
Used to
patches.
be greener, larger, but it's shrinking. This is growing, but this is also shrinking into Nama. And eventually things will become desert, but not in our lifetime. I'm just saying, I mean, Jesus might come before that anyway, but do you understand how it works? So it's all about, and you can see, I've been talking about the interior plateau along a lot. So this high-lying area of South Africa is basically covered by 3 biomes: savanna, grassland, and Namakaroo. And then it spills over a bit over the Great Escarpment. You can see this. So don't get confused. It's like with your coat hanging out and that sort of thing. But then the coastal belt, this section, is where the highest diversity really is, with your fynbos, succulent Karoo, your Albany thicket, and then you've got also the Indian Ocean coastal belt. So these biomes are very unique to the Western Cape, Eastern Cape, well, a little bit of the Northern Cape, and KwaZulu-Natal. So
These biomes are, sorry, these biomes are mostly influenced by the coast, right?
Yeah, so when we look at the definition of a biome, let me quickly show you that. A biome, it's, let me see, where's a better description. I don't want to confuse you, but if you can, you see, it says biomes broadly correspond with climatic regions. So yes, and that is influenced by the coast. You're quite right. And also because of rain and temperature that plays a role. And then the plant types that you see there, that's designed to survive those conditions. Do you get that? So it's the climate conditions. So we've already said this is Mediterranean. No other part in South Africa is Mediterranean, winter rainfall. So if you look at this, you can see in the Eastern Cape, some sections will also be maybe a bit more, get more rain during the winter, this part, maybe. But basically, it's a winter rainfall, maybe becoming more summer towards the Eastern Cape. But this section is more winter, summer rainfall. Am I right? You get more summer rainfall.
Yeah.
And then
summer rainfall.
And then this section will be more all year round as well. It is much more rain or greener around this area. So the climate plays a role influenced by the oceans, and we've got 2, the cold, the Atlantic and the Indian. The one is a cold current, the cold Benguela, that influences this section, that it's more desert because of the cold Benguela. And then the, oh no, the cold, I think it's, sorry, it's, is it the cold Benguela? I think it is. And then the warm Mozambique current comes here. So this area gets a lot of rain because of the warm Mozambique current, while this side gets less rain. It's more desert-like things because it's a cold current. So that influences the rainfall. When we will get rainfall, then the mountains, the Great Escarpment, also influences rainfall and the weather. So in the interior, it's summer rainfall, or there's nothing else. We get in winter sometimes, but if the majority is summer rainfall. Yeah, you can
Summer rainfall.
summer. So there are two big regions: summer rainfall, which is in this biomes basically, your winter rainfall, which is succulent Karoo, and well, succulent Karoo is more towards the end of the summer, and then the winter, and then this area is so-called Mediterranean or winter. And then the forests, which are little spots, are all year round, but that's very little, and maybe along the coast, some areas. So you get that picture, how it influences the biomes. And so when
Biomes, yeah.
when you look at this, remember this little animal that's flapping its wings, the heart is the grassland, soft. Most of the economic activities takes place in this area. Gauteng is the economic hub. Most of the people, 26% of all South Africans lives here. So 1 out of every 4 South African lives here. While in the Western Cape, we said it was 7, as about 7 million. So 7, if we then look at calculations, I'm just trying to show you things that makes it more interesting for you, because I know you don't like to just share things. You like to share things from your heart and that you understand. Okay, let's see, divided by 60, because there's about 60 million. So about 1 out of 10 South Africans live in Cape Town, or in the Western Cape. While in Gauteng, look how small it is. 1 out of every 4 South African lives here. It's the economic hub of South Africa. It's where all the mining mostly take place, in this green area. It's the wetlands. It's very important here. So it's a very important region. We have to protect it. Most of our rivers originate in this area, from the mountains and springs and that sort of thing. So that's why we've got the protection of the savanna on the outside. And the stomach of this little animal, you can make it your own story, is Namakuru. So together, these 3 biomes cover 80% of South Africa. So can you see, if you understand those 3 and how they work, and it's
then
not
South Africa.
Hmm?
I'm saying, I know I'm just saying for myself, if you understand the biomes alone, then you understand the entire South Africa.
Yeah, then you can say, okay, what are the mountains here? What is the influences? Because it varies within it, but in a broad sense, you can understand it. You can understand why economic activities is taking place in this area. And you can see also now why, let's say, East London PE is located in this area, because there's a lot of things going on. It's a hub because of the biomes. It's very, Albany especially here. Fynbos, what the impact it has on this region, because I've already told you that this section is famous also for wheat farming, grains, granola oil. It's plains where they plant. It's very good for crops, not mealies, not sunflower really, but things like grains, wheat, your grapes, your fruits. Ostrich farming here in the Little Karoo. Hops, beer, George, that area. So when you make your studies or your notes, yes, it's good that I think I want to get you out of the rut of just working through the manual, and I think you also don't want to do that. You can refer to it, but if you can take a map and start talking to yourself, because you will find so much information, and then make notes according to biomes. And which cities do you find in this areas? And let's say if you're in Cape Town, what are the prominent trees that you can expect to see there, or birds? Not what the book says, what you observe. Talk to people in Cape Town. I hope you've got, ask them and start looking up pictures and things like that. And this is how you will grow a practical knowledge, not like book knowledge. That's why I stopped you when you started reading from your notes. And that's why I didn't let you present from notes that you can read. Because once you understand how to use a map and to interpret it, or any visual image, it can be anything else. Let's say, for instance, let's look at this. What do you see here, Alex? Don't tell me the biome name.
This,
Hmm?
or you were saying I must not tell you the biome name or tell you the biome name.
So just tell me what you see here now. What are you observing? There's two prominent things that I see here. What do you see here? If you're not driving.
Well, here we have, I would say the savannah. Is it the savannah?
It's
But it's the
savanna.
grass.
And why do you say
It's
that?
dry though. It's dry.
But dry doesn't necessarily mean savanna, because this is now in the winter. But in summer, this is very green. So when you talk about the savanna, you can't say it's dry like the Karoo. The Karoo is always sort of gray, looks dry. Sometimes it's more greener. But if you look at this is now in the winter in the savanna. In summer, this will be green. But what is prominent here? Grass, can you see? And then trees.
Yes, that's grass. So
So
and your trees, they are not so tall.
they're not that tall, and they're not continuous. They don't form a canopy, like they not form an enclosure. Some areas there might be overgrown, and then they've got shorter shrub trees, tree-like things that they called woody plants. But you don't need to worry about it. But what I want you to get at, you must know, when I ask Savannah, you say
What it is when I see it in the picture.
yeah, so grass, but the grassland with woody layer, and you will go and read it when you get to this, with trees, with trees, that can be close or further apart. But you can see, look now the difference with that. I should have taken a picture for the summer, but let's look. What do you think is this one?
Oh my God, that one is a grassland.
Yes. Why do you say that?
Well, the grass is very soft and very low, greener. Like it's plain.
Like it's rolling hills. Can you see? If you go through the
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's protected, like it's in a plain, and then there's a rounding hills, and then it's just plain and greener.
But remember, in summer, in winter, it will also go gray, or tan. But what I want you to notice, very less trees. Can you see the difference? Don't look at the color necessarily. I want you to see, and this grass can be higher. It can also look like this, but it will be green. So yes, just now, because I think the cattle is keeping it short and blah, blah, blah. But this is grassland. If you look at this, look closely.
I see home.
Hmm?
I see home. Succulent carrot. Like,
I see the names are here. Okay, so the names are here, but you can see daisies. There's no fynbos. There's no reeds. You can see it's mostly flowers. But this is in summer. In winter, it will be difficult to discern it, because
it will be dry in winter.
Yeah, but
it will blow away.
What I want you to do is go and Google succulent Karoo grassland. Then you look under images, and you will see different ones. Can you see this one? Nama Karoo, bossies. You see, this is what makes the Karoo sheep so famous, because they eat these aromatic bushes. You can see there's part of the Great Escarpment here. So this is a part, so the Great Escarpment crosses over through the Karoo section. So some part lies to the south and some part to the north. So the part to the south is usually more higher rainfall than to the other side, as far as I remember. Okay, and this, can you see the difference? Desert.
Yep.
Can you look very hardly? There are bushes, and then the specific type of trees. This you can find in other places in South Africa that's planted. But this is like, I now forgot, a quiver tree. And the half maize is also very famous for the desert, but it's a small biome. And this, fynbos.
Oh my God.
Can
That's
you
famous.
see?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you
The
can see.
beauty.
And how I can recognize it. Okay, proteas, suikerbos, reeds. The flowers are not really soft, except for, you get your, maybe these, the ericas. But usually it's a bit more sturdy. Can you see? It's to be able to grow in that type of soil, which is more sandy. It's got a different climate. So this is why you can see they differ because of
They're
climate,
very different.
altitude, also the soil type. Like this is more sandy.
Yeah, I'm checking more the altitude and the moisture. It's so different.
Yes. And so that all plays a role. And that can also tell you what what is happening in a province in terms of rainfall. Then what you need to know, we've said fynbos is the biome, but the plant kingdom, there's only 6 in the world, is called the Cape Floral Kingdom. So remember that. So the Cape Floral Kingdom is more than the fynbos, although fynbos comprises the Cape Floral Kingdom. Most of it is Cape fynbos. It's a bit confusing. It was confusing to me, but you can see it's the only plant kingdom contained solely in one country. Can you see that? You can see this Holarctic, Neprodopo, whatever. You can see there's 5 others. Okay, Australia also have 101, but it seems some of it is maybe on an island. I don't know. But the uniqueness is it is contained. It's a whole floral kingdom contained in one country. That makes it unique. Okay, I think that's enough for biomes. Are you still there, Alex?
I'm still with you. I'm still with
So
you.
when you go back to this study, I think when you've got time and you feel up to it, go and study this document again. You see here I've made the difference between what's a forest, a thicket, and savanna. So I think it will start making more sense now. What I've done is I've also given like explanation. What is it? It's shrubveld, bushveld. It's got a grassy ground layer and distinct upper layer of woody plants, which is trees and that sort of things. So you can go and read through this to gain a better understanding. Okay. Okay, Alex. Now I've spoken. Now let me just get back to this. I need you now to talk to me. Okay, that's fynbos. National parks in the Western Cape. Can you mention
the national
parks?
national parks in the Western Cape? We have the Table Mountain National Park. We have the one in the Tsitsikamma. We have the is it the succulent, but the Karoo National Park.
The Karoo National Park is yes, that is in the Western Cape. You're right.
It is in the Western Cape, yes. And then we also have the Knysna Garden Route National Park.
Okay.
Then we're not forgetting the Bontebok National Park.
Oh boy, that's good. Bontebok. Okay, that's fine, Alex. I just want to show you something because maybe the books are not updated, but the Knysna, Tsitsikamma, and Wilderness National Parks are now proclaimed as one, the Garden Route National Park. Okay, so
Oh,
just
really?
remember, yeah. So, so you've got the
What of
Agulhas.
the Agulhas National Park?
Agulhas is that's the most southern point. So I'm not sure. I think it's the lighthouse there, and they might have some other animals. So just go and read about it.
But
I'm
they
not
have
good at
birds. They have mostly birds there.
birds. Yes, they should. And then the Bontebok, Karoo National Park. You're quite right. Table Mountain and the West Coast. This is where you can watch the flowers. So a Garden Route
Mhm.
National Park. And tell me, World Heritage sites in the Western Cape.
Our World Heritage sites in the Western Cape. We will have obviously our Robben Island,
Yeah, that's good. So it's a UNESCO World and
and
what?
we will have our Cape Flora Kingdom.
Yes. Okay, that's it. So that's fine. It's only the two.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see what is next. Okay. The final section I want to ask a few questions on is pertaining to the history, and basically the Western Cape covers a lot in terms of the long period of immigration. So tell me, who were the first inhabitants of the Western Cape area? Let's call it Western Cape area because, yeah.
Inhabitants, not the people that arrived, but people that were
No,
there first, right?
inhabited, yeah. They might have arrived there, but they
Okay.
were living
So,
there, let's say, when the Europeans came. What were the first?
okay, the early aged or stone age, that will be your Khoisans or Khoikhoi. They were
Okay,
the early inhabitants of the province.
okay, so it's the Khoi. Just remember the sand, they were more in the Drakensberg areas. Yeah, the Khoi were mostly living in that area. Yeah, so that's right. And then were there any Xhosa living in the area when Van Riebeeck arrived?
No,
Okay.
Xhosas
So
were still not there.
okay, so we say now the Khoi, the most important groups there. Many place names like Hesekwa or Outeniqua comes from Khoi words, and then there might have been some sand, but this is the sand were more towards the mountainous areas, I think, and later further north. Okay, then we set Iron Age immigrants or arrivals, farmers, none at this stage. Talk to me about the Portuguese seafarers. What role did they
The Portu-
play? Yeah.
well, the Portuguese, they did not settle, but they found the route.
Yeah, to the east.
That they found the route to the east. They did not settle. So having found the route but did not settle, that's when the Dutch came and not took over the route but dominated the route with
Yeah.
the VOC. And I think they also tried to, they did not try and settle, but they stopped in Mossel Bay, but they did not settle there. They just stopped and then
Yeah.
they quickly moved.
Okay, that's right. So can you name the guy who reached the east, the route to the east?
Lord, is it Dam? What, these names now?
Vasco,
What Damas? Sorry?
Vasco da Gama.
Vasco da Gama, yeah, Vasco da Gama.
Okay,
That is a Portuguese name, right?
that's a Portuguese name. So go and write it down and practice it. If you forget how to pronounce it, download a voice clip on your thing and play it over and over again. Vasco da Gama, Vasco da Gama, Bartolomeus Diaz, Bartholomew. I said Bartholomew Diaz. It's difficult. It's difficult for us who don't speak, the the
the language.
But okay, so it's Bartholomeus Diaz, Bartholomew Diaz in
Bartholomew.
Diaz. What is important about him? Bartholomew Diaz. Yeah. What is important? What connection does he
Um,
have? Specifically, it's connected to a town in Western Cape.
Connected to it. Diaz,
You will
was
get
he not
it.
sent to establish the refreshment stops?
No, not yet, because he was a Portuguese.
Mistaking
He
names.
was an explorer. Okay, Mossel Bay, does it ring a bell?
Okay. That is when he got to Mossel Bay, but he's the one that did not settle because the Khoisans were so not friendly and welcoming.
Yeah, that's right.
So
Okay.
he moved again, and then that's where the first post office was established.
Yes, that's right, at Mossel Bay, but you're right. So when they arrived, the Khoikhoi weren't so friendly, so they moved on, but I don't think they would have settled anyway. But later they established the post office 3 there. So that's right. So just know about these guys. What did they do and their influence? Like Vasco da Gama, he named Natal Terra de Natal or something like that. Just go and check. It means land of nativity because he passed there on Christmas Day. So that's where Natal got their
Christmas Day.
name. Yeah. Okay, talk to me about Jan van Riebeeck.
Jan van Riebeeck. Jan
Well,
van
so
Riebeeck.
why did he come? What's happening? Tell me a little bit about what, yeah.
Okay, for him, now I think I'm mistaking the names again, but is he not the one now? Because these guys, well, they were sailing, they were getting sick because they lacked vitamins in their bodies.
Yeah.
So did they not send him now for cattling, farming, so that he can provide food?
Yeah, so he was sent by the VOC. You've already mentioned. You mentioned the VOC, and so he was sent by them to establish a refreshment post.
The refreshment stops, yes. So
A
he sold,
refreshment
made
post. He was
food, like planted.
yeah, he was actually a doctor, but it's got a bit of a reputation. But for long, they considered him as the founding father of the nations. There's a song, Ons sê dankie, sê ons Jan van Riebeeck, ons sal vir jou nooit vergeet. Do you know this? Do you understand Afrikaans? But anyway, so for long he was considered.
Yeah, no, Afrikaans.
Jy kan Afrikaans praat. Okay, but there's a song about that. So for a long period, he was considered the founding father of South Africa. When did he arrive?
Oh, Lord of mercy, was early 1820s.
Now, this is a very important date, 1652.
Okay,
so,
no, I did not.
Alex, you need to really, because that date was previously considered as the founding date of South Africa. So when they looked at, how old we are, they would date it back to 1652. 6 April 1562. 6 April used to be a holiday in South Africa.
April.
Yeah. So you must please remember that. It's important date, even though it's not important for us in terms of this is the date that we was established. It's not. I just want you to know that's the date that people consider as the start of our history. 1652 with the arrival of this man. Okay.
Or the date they became known of our history.
Yeah. Okay. And then what is? Let me just quickly see. And then tell me a bit more about. So you said he's to start gardening and keeping cattle. And who did he connect to in the Cape to achieve this goal?
So when he got to the Cape to achieve the goal, who's this man now again? But he connected to the Khoisan to translate and like to have conversation with the people. I'm
Yeah.
forgetting just the name of the
Harry de
guy,
Strand.
but he was
Harry de Strandloper. Harry the Beachcomber. Is that what you're looking for?
say again.
Harry the Beachcomber. Or Harry de Strandloper.
Yes, yes, that's the name.
They say the Khoi name I can't pronounce. Quasimodo or something. Quasimodo or something like that. Okay, so talk to me more about them. Was the Khoi happy to supply them with cattle and labor?
No, not at all. They didn't even want to work for him.
Okay, and then so what happened next?
So what happened next after all that? They didn't want to work with him and all that. So that is when they brought in the slaves
Okay,
to
and
come.
so,
To come and
okay,
work.
so that's the slave. So that's when Jan van Riebeeck. So talk to me a little bit about where the slaves came from and who they were. Give me some information.
Lord have mercy on me. Okay, let's see. We would start with talk about the Cape Malay.
Yeah.
When we talk about the slave, we'll talk about the Cape Malay, but not all of them really did come from Malaysia, because there were slaves from Madagascar and all those islands there. I'm now forgetting the exact names. That's why I was like, Lord have mercy on me. There were slaves from there, but there were specifically these other slaves that were not from those places. They were not really their slaves, but they captured them along the way, or they overcame this other ship and got the slaves.
So
Who
yeah,
were
that
they
was
now
the
again?
the first that was quite a nice story. So if you look why dates are here important. So in 1652, Van Riebeeck arrived, but only in 1658 the first slaves arrived. Now you were quite right. In the one ship was captured. It was by
And
Portuguese.
they also slaves from Mozambique, right?
Yes, there was yeah. So the first were those captured slaves from actually Angola that they captured. But the first shipment came from Benin. Benin, you know, is that
And
African country.
Indonesia.
Yeah. So Benin, close to Ghana. And then they also came from
Mhm.
other parts of Africa, like Madagascar delivered the most slaves. Most of the slaves they were Malagasy. It's a strange name, but they were Malagasy. Okay, so these were mostly Africans then, and then who else came as, what do you call it? Maybe not as slaves, but as political exiles. Can you talk to me about them? The political exiles. Because you want to come to the point where you can talk to me about the Malay people. So can you remember who were the what is it? Orange
The
Cayenne.
political. Sorry?
Yeah, who were this Orang Cayenne? Orang Cayenne. Who were they?
I don't want to lie. That section could have missed, because now I'm trying to think. There is this guy that heard about the banishment of the slavery, but it's not them, and it's also not the Dutch, not the Germans.
Okay, so the political exiles, the Orang Cayenne, were political and religious leaders from Indonesia, because remember the Dutch had their headquarters there in Jakarta. And so these people were opposing the Dutch, like, you know, people opposes people who are not welcome in the country. And they were exiled to the Cape. So they were political and religious leaders. So this is how Islam came to South Africa. And one of the main peanuts in the packet was Sheikh Yusuf. He came with, I don't know how many wives, and a party of over 50 people, I think. So he was quite wealthy and well known. And he established, he was given a farm, Makassar, by Simon van der Stel.
Yeah, I remember that is where they now started with the mosque or Muslim religion there in that farm.
That's where they started, gathering these slaves, so they started having meetings there. But then there was another guy, I can't remember his name, who actually established the first madrasa, wrote the first Quran, and he was actually considered the father of Muslims in South Africa. But yeah, so just remember, so these were the slaves, but also the
This guy, the father of Muslims in South Africa, was he also arrested most in Robben Island? That is where he could memorize the Quran.
Yeah, I think that was the story. So it's very interesting. So what happens, these slaves and these religious leaders, well, people intermarried. So mostly of them, I think, was from this political exiles, but also slaves from Indonesia and probably from Africa that intermarried. Because the Cape Malay, they've got specific features. Have you noticed?
Yeah, like let me tell you a little story. Oh God, I'm gonna be late at work now, but we can pass it. It's okay. So when they were building the waterfront in Cape Town,
Yeah.
you see the waterfront mall. That is where, if you check, my name and surname is Alex Sylvester.
Yeah.
Okay. My father's great grandfather, or grandfather rather, was in a group that came to South Africa to build the waterfront mall, and they were coming from Holland.
Oh.
But they were not really from Holland. I think they were there being in the slave trade as well, but they were coming from that region of Holland. So he came to Cape Town, and then they were in a group that was building the waterfront mall and most harbors that side.
Right, that's interesting.
And then, yes, it is then when they were all being free and all that, and then he met one of the ladies from the Cape Malay, and then they got married. And because he was good with construction, he started his own construction, and then he moved in the Eastern Cape to Queenstown. That is where he was building most. He built most buildings in Queenstown. His construction company. So he wrote a letter back home to bring his brother. And then his brother came and they started working the construction. Also, his brother got married to a Cape Malay woman. They also moved to Queenstown.
That's interesting.
So with them now, the family growing and having kids and all that, the kids moved back. So majority of my father's side of the family is still in Cape Town, in the Cape Flats, your Bonteville, your Belleville, and Bella. So they moved back there. So we have, I think, about 4 family houses that dates back in the early 50s in Cape Town, Bonteville, Bella, and Belleville.
Oh,
So my great grandfather was in that. And then they also settled in Queenstown, but not really in Queenstown, in between Queenstown and Tsofimvaba, because they built Queenstown, going further up Tsofimvaba. They built some sections of King Matanzima's home. So they were given land in the village called St. Mark's just opposite King Matanzima's village, Kamata. So that is where that is how we came about to settle. And the woman he married also had relatives in the CBD of Queenstown, so they were also given land there.
Wow, that's interesting. Alex, was that your grandfather or your great-grandfather?
Great grandfather.
That's interesting.
So with them settling there and then having to live amongst the Xhosa community, they started adopting the Xhosa culture and they married now Xhosa women. Even coming down to my father, if we speak of my father, his a father and mother, the mother side, they also have ancestors that are originating back from India. Those ones that came with that they came with for the sugar canes, for the sugar farming in KZN. Those Indians.
Very.
So my father's side of the also has that history, but then they ended up getting married to Xhosas. Hence now I'm more in the Xhosa side because we grew up in the Eastern Cape and they also settled in the Eastern Cape. And my mother's side of the family, they are the ones that are Xhosas. But if we go to Cape Town and meet with the other side, because we still have relationship with them, if we go to Cape Town, we still meet with the other side of my father's family. They are purely Afrikaners and the Kombeis Afrikaans, the kitchen Afrikaans.
Okay, yeah, the Kombuis. Yeah, so that's so basically Cape Malay.
Yes, yes.
It's interesting. And then
So
also,
that is just a bit brief history
yeah, that's good, Alex,
there
because
about me.
I saw when you did the long period of immigration, you didn't write about your family history, but that's fine. I'll accept your story now. It's very interesting. You know what? People are very interested in this type of thing. I've really loved listening to you. So when you've got time, maybe, make yourself a little presentation. Maybe if you can get photos of what you're talking about and just have something at hand because people are very interested in this. And maybe do some more research. Where did they come from in Holland? And perhaps names and things. You saw in that one presentation, how I spoke about my grandfather and or the first Marais French Huguenots, because
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah, I
important
remember
for
that.
us.
Yes.
And your story is so interesting. I really enjoyed listening to that. And you can see your connection now. So, but it's important then to understand who the Cape Malay were, that they didn't come from Malaysia necessarily. Remember, I said in the lecture, it's actually um, the Malay archipelago. So that's a series of islands that included Indonesia, a section of Malaysia, and some other areas, I think Borneo and those places, that form part of this series of islands known as the Malay archipelago. So
Mhm.
some people, they don't agree with it. Some people call it something else, but that's where the name came from. It's not that the ancestors came mainly from Malaysia. We had it all wrong. I always also thought they came from Malaysia, but they
Yeah,
came from
before I
this.
indulged in these studies as well,
So it
I
came
was so
from this.
convinced that they're coming from Malaysia.
Yeah, so it's from this region. So while you're at it, we need to finish because you have to go to work. Quickly tell me about the traditions or about the Cape Malay. We've now established they were slaves and of these political exiles that intermarried or married. So what religion were they usually following, the Malays? What are they normally?
Okay, if I will try and sum it up in giving point forms of the Malays, how can I put this? Now it's overflowing. Okay, first we have what we call a bokap or whatsoever, but the Malays religiously, we name them the Cape Colors because they're not really going around being called Cape Malays or whatsoever. it's like they are Cape colors, speaking Afrikaans, making the Afrikaans language as much as it is the late or language, but the popular language in the Western Cape. And I think majority, do correct me please, but majority they now following the Muslimic religion.
Yeah. Muslim,
Yes,
Islam.
and
Yeah.
then Islam, yes, Islam religion, and then as I said, with the language, popular language, Afrikaans, and then Afrikaans mixed with English, and it's not the a book Afrikaans. So as I said, it's a kitchen Afrikaans, the a language they used because, as you said, they were coming from different places. They were not really coming from Malaysia, but all these different places. So they needed one common language to establish communication or conversation. So that is when the Afrikaans was born and the Cape Afrikaans. So they are known as clearings, yeah, colors, having specific food types like your cook sisters, popoti, samosa, and having the festival that takes place on the 2nd of January each year. And then in the homestead, well, they dominate the Cape Flats. They're just
Okay.
dominating. They are all in the sorry.
No, that's fine, Alex. I can see you've got this well done. You explained it very well. Let me just quickly ask you just a few more questions on the history. I'm nearly done with that. Okay, the French, why did they came to the Cape?
Sorry.
Why did the French came to the Cape? The French Huguenots who
Why
were
did the French Huguenot came to the Cape? Well, there was some religious disagreements, and then they did not wanna join those religion and whatsoever, so they came this side.
okay, so it was because of religious reasons. Just remember, they were actually persecuted in France. They, there was like because
Okay, yeah, they were persecuted because of religion.
yeah, because they were Protestants, and then the Catholics started persecuting them because of there was a sort of a peace treaty or a decree that allowed them to practice their religion, but then it was it was revoked. So they came, and what contribution did they made to South Africa? What would you say is the main contribution?
Mm. Lord
Okay,
have
so the
mercy on me.
wine
I think.
it's the wine industry, because if you go to Franschhoek,
Oh yes, 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 yes. I got this. I got this.
so that did
And
happen.
they had knowledge of wine.
Yeah, that
They
a
had knowledge
lot of
of
them.
wine, so they were given land.
Yeah, so they were given land and they settled in that area called Franschhoek. That's why it's
They
called
settled
French
and then they
Corner.
started making
French
the
Corner.
incredible wine, the best wine.
Yeah, I think they made a big contribution. Okay, Alex, I think let's stop it here. You've noticed now the areas where you're still weak in. What I think, what's
Yes,
going,
especially the geology.
I think what I'm going to do, yeah, geology. Also, it's important to know when you're driving which mountains is it. Um, your history is getting there. It's not too shabby, but especially geology, geography, and um, yeah, I didn't even ask you about the whales and the penguins and that sort of stuff. But the thing is, this is what people will be interested in. If you're driving, you need to know about the area
Mhm.
that you can talk about it.
Yeah, but when it comes to whales and penguins and stuff, they have most that attraction site stop here in the Mossel Bay, where there is this whale sighting, whale viewing. Not Mossel Bay, I'm sorry, in Platte.
Let,
Confusing Platte and Mossel
let,
Bay.
and that, yeah, okay, so they go there. So what I need you to do is, Alex, you go, please, will you? What are the routes that you usually do in the Western Cape and the places you stop at? So that we make sure that at least you know that, because I feel you still need to learn quite a bit about the Western Cape, but you're getting there. I feel you are
Mhm.
making good progress. It's not like you're not making good progress, but you realize there's still a lot of things that you need to learn. Um, so I'm thinking, uh, yeah. So I'm just trying to think, how can we do this so that we don't reinvent the wheel. How would you like to go forward? Let me ask that.
So that's okay. You see, with the Western Cape, at large, I had this discussion with Donay. I think Donay once spoke with you. Is from the
Yeah,
Eastern Cape Tourism. Yeah, I had this discussion with him because I told him, listen, I can study Cape Town this far, but for me, it is not like Eastern Cape because I stay in Eastern Cape. It's more
yeah,
practical to me. Eastern Cape is more practical. But with Cape Town, I normally go and I always use the entire garden route. I know the whole of garden route, your Oudtshoorn up to Knysna, George, Mossel Bay, going down to Cape Town. So I said to Donny, even if I can get my things, I don't want to go first as a guide. I want to go for something like a practical. So I will go
yeah.
as a driver going with the experienced guide. Then I just go and observe and see and put all this information into practical. Then I will find my feet on how to present all the information I know. So that was just my view when I observed all this. I don't know what you think on your side, but
Yeah,
I see where I'm lacking, and I was hoping to ask maybe if we can have another session, maybe where you ask me questions later on before I even embark on Joburg. I won't go to Joburg anytime soon. I think I still need to work more on the Western
yeah.
Cape
What?
before I can even think of Joburg. So what I was thinking now, especially with the geology, if we can have maybe a specific lesson for it, maybe on a given day, not now when there's time, then I can also go and try and study more on the geology because I'm getting the glimpse of it now.
Yeah, look, because it's taking a bit of time because now I've been up since 4 o'clock preparing for this. So it's taking a lot of my time, but um, I don't mind doing the geology, but then we can do it in a group again. Because I find it's too time consuming and it's not fair to the other students that I spend so much time with you and not with them as well. So and I
Mhm.
know your situation, but also understand now it's like 5 hours for preparation and everything. It's a lot, and it's supposed to just be an assessment.
Yeah.
And I know it's valuable for you, and I actually don't mind helping you. But what I need you to do is, I think you need to work through that biome document again, because I see there were many errors. So please now, after today, go and watch the video again and do that section again. And then also the geology, there was like at the end, you didn't do any of those tasks. So I need you to finish that, because it doesn't help if I talk. You need to watch the videos and you need to do some work on that. And then what we can do is, once you've done that, we can come back to it and say, okay, this is the areas you're still struggling with. Then I don't mind to do that. But I can't take you from scratch. You understand? So you have to put in
Mhm,
the
mhm.
work now according to that to the video and to the quiz. And I know you might feel, oh, it's so over the top and this, but the more you work at it, I promise you, Alex, I've been now busy with that for 20 years. It's only now that some of the things are clicking. So the more you do it, the more you become familiar with it. And I'm trying to develop things that can help. Like today, you and me developed the albatross today for the Western Cape, which is good. So we can share it with the other students. So I need you to really work through those sections again, and then also watch that video again on the arrivals. You know that becomes the long period of immigration. I think that is very important for the Cape, understanding how it came about, the history of the slaves. And it's not in detail there, but at least there are some key things. I didn't even ask you about why did the British come. So if you can get that straight. So I need you to focus, I think, on those three. Then did I send you the garden route overview, summary, or things that you need to know?
No, oh, I haven't checked, maybe, but I didn't see it.
Okay, just have a look, because what I'm thinking, I do have a garden route exam, because the one time you said you wanted to, you thought that we could do an exam on that one instead of the whole province, because honestly, I can't give you Western Cape. You don't have sufficient knowledge. That's we didn't even cover half of it, but you don't have sufficient knowledge at this stage. But I'm trying now to think, what can we do to fast forward you that you don't lose heart? And I'm thinking if we can do the the garden route, because you've already studied, just see what I ask on those papers, check that you know those things, and then I'll send you the online exam. It's multiple choices as well. And then we wrap up on that at least. Then with the Western Cape, I'll feel good if you do that. Then maybe we can put the Western Cape on and still work on it. But at least let's do then an intense exam on the what do you call it? The garden route. Will that be easier for you to do it instead of the whole? Because the province, I don't think you'll pass at this stage. You're getting there, but it's still lots of things to learn. So if I question you on the garden route, if you can do that online exam, will that be all right? And then
Yes, please, let's.
and then you've got your summaries. I see you've worked on your Western Cape, and then we just keep on working at this. It's a difficult province. It's not easy because there's a lot of things. So this is what I'm recommending, so that we can move forward with this, so that you can register with it, your Western Cape. But at least then we know garden route is, you know it well, and you've been to the winelands. Have you done that?
Yes.
So what do you think about that?
Like doing the garden route exam.
Yeah, so what I'm thinking is, you do the garden route exam, we give you the full Western Cape, but we still work on it. Like you said, we can spend another session just going through the geology again. And the geography, I'm not sure how you're going to do that. I will send you this PowerPoint. Then you can go through it and just see what you can do with it, looking at the map. How can you explain it? Because I think if you see it, it will also be easier for you to know, okay, these are the escarpment mountains. These are part of the Cape Fold Mountains. So if I'm driving along the N2, then you actually do the route and you see, okay, I'm going through the Hottentots Holland Mountains now, Soloris Pass, I'm driving the N2. You understand? So you do like a virtual travel for you, but you look on the map and you see, okay, that's the Langeberge. Then we're going to cross this river, Brede River, Gourits River. This is the towns I get on route. What are the mountains at George? Do you know the mountains there, Alex?
Mountains in George. No, I have not looked in that.
Yeah. Do you think this will be better for you when you can have a more, because just to memorize the name of mountains randomly, it doesn't really help. You need to know. I'm going to give you a map of that section, and then what would have been great if you can just write in the names and things. But I'll give you the map. But you need to identify what mountains are this, where are they. You don't need to know all the mountains, but at least you know along the garden route what major rivers are you crossing, um, that sort of thing. So I don't know what do you want to what do you feel in your heart? What do you feel is the best? Is there anything else that you want to suggest? Because I know you have often some good ideas that can work, that we can look at. What do you feel at this stage?
Okay. Honestly, at this stage, I wouldn't say I have anything because I see my struggle is on all the geology. But I was thinking, how about we go on the what's this, the online exam, right?
Yeah,
Where you did like Eastern Cape, you break it down because now you're saying you have something that was already prepared for the garden route, like an exam.
I do have yeah, because I thought we could do the whole Western Cape, but I see there's too many. Uh, yeah, we're still struggling a bit with that. So I'm now thinking let's
Okay.
break it down to west, to the garden route. And
Okay, how about we break it down in terms of like the garden route, then it be the garden route alone, and then we go to geology, then we know it's just the geology alone, the mountains and whatsoever.
yeah, I
And then
think
now
that
when I study for the exam,
yeah,
like
yeah,
I would know, okay, now if I know that today or this week I want to tackle the garden route exam, then I just know I focus on the garden route. And
um,
then after that, then I know, okay, now I have this exam of geology, then I know I focus on that.
yeah, I think let's try and do it in that manner. The thing is, it's not actually the way it should work, but I'm willing to do it for you in this manner. I'm just thinking what we need to do is I need to go and look at your submissions again. How did you do your Cape Town city tour? Did you do what I asked you to do, or you didn't do that? Because remember, garden route would include you driving all the way to Cape Town. Am I right?
Yeah, driving to Cape Town and then going into Oudtshoorn, Winelands, and then up to the Cape Point.
Um, yeah, so we need to do that part too, but I thought let's cover garden route first because you did do all your slides on that. You can just check my list because I'm now checking what the questions here. So this is the questions I asked the other students who did just garden route, but this is a bit more intense. So this is why I can give it to you, but uh, it's actually in a way I don't know. Let me send it to you. I'm going to send you the link plus the what is required for the garden route. But if we can cover that, if you feel more confident in doing that, then we can do that. But I'll give you then the full province. So it's either you have to write the exams for the full province because we're far from covering everything that we need for the Western Cape. Um, so that
Okay. Even if I do cover, if I do take the entire exam for the whole province, I think I would still ask for a lesson like this on those things. My main concern is that the geology part, because I know that with regards to the information of everything else, I might have maybe answered wrong or howsoever, but I know the information. It's just putting it. So now, even if you do give me the entire exam of the province at once in a go without breaking it down, rest assured, when it comes to everything else, I will get my mark. But I'm sure maybe I might struggle again in the geology. But now with the presentation that you gave me, even with that, I get the glimpse of it.
Yeah, I
So
think,
you
yeah.
can give. Okay, sorry. So you can give me the entire exam, or we can break it with. But you say it's not allowed like that. So I also understand because I was gonna let's say sometime this week, even tomorrow whatsoever, just tackle garden route out of the way, and then. But garden route now, you are right again. Garden route goes straight to Cape Town. It's that tourism route starting from Tsitsikamma up, going straight
Yeah,
via the Wildlands, Outdoren to Cape Town.
yeah. So what I'm thinking, Alex, is I think let me send you the link for the Western Cape province. Just do it. Just see. Maybe not now, but maybe tomorrow morning when you're fresh. Just do that. Let's see how it goes, and then based on that, and then you take your notes as you know as you go along. I don't think there were things on mountain passes and that sort of thing, and this is what I'm worried about. I don't know if you will know all of that, but why don't you just try it? Let's see where you are at. Let me give you the outline for the garden route. It is more intense, but I know you're eager to do that. Let's just work and get some basis there. Let's then, if you've done that, we make a decision. I'll be more lenient because I can hear some of the things you know are quite good and well. And the geology is not like the end of the world. We can work on that. I like your idea. Let's work more on that so that you gain understanding. Like I think today you gained a lot of understanding on biomes, and that's starting to make sense. Um, so uh, let's do it in that manner, and then let's try and do the Western Cape, finish up the whole thing. You can still keep on working because I know you're not a person who will just run around and not know your stuff. You are eager to learn it, but also you need to earn money. So if we can do that, then at least we've got something to work on, and then we'll keep on, improving in that area. As long as you make that commitment to me, that you will not say, "Well, I've got now, I can register for Western Cape, but now I'm not going to do these other things." And I know you wanted to just take a break,
No.
but
When
if you,
it comes to that, trust me, I'm not doing it for. I can't hear you.
now I'm listening to you.
Oh no, I'm saying with regards to that, you can trust me because I'm not doing it to register so that I can be on tours and all that, but I'm doing it because of the passion and because I want to know it.
Yes, I
With
can hear that. Yeah.
when it comes to be with clients and being on tours and all that, I also told these guys, listen, I can have my badge and whatsoever now, but I wouldn't want to take on clients and tours. And now I would love to go on tours as a driver, not as a driver guide, but as a driver, then having a guide next to me, a experienced guide, then just get to see how they do it, how they go around, while I also now gain the practicality of it. Because with the Cape Town, for example, Eastern Cape was easy. I'm here. So sometimes I would see your questions or see the slides or see whatever. And then when I get a chance, I would drive to that specific place just to see it in more practical. But I can't just rock up and start the car and go to Cape Town. But if now I'm going as a driver, I will go with the tour, and in every attraction site they go to, I will I'm there as a driver, but I'm also observing, taking my notes, putting in my own knowledge, not per se taking the knowledge of that guide, but learning and taking what I can take and then putting it with what I have learned to make me.
Yeah. No,
So it's not a matter of I want to go and register so that I can get the ball going. I don't think I'm going to be guiding anytime this year, especially I would guide maybe Eastern Cape, possibly, because I am more confident about that. Like when the cruise ships are coming, the meet and greets, Ado National Park, and all that, maybe I would go. If the company would require me to go alone, I would. But outside Eastern Cape, at the moment, I think I still need some time to put it into more practical, going with someone that have been there before.
yeah, and I think if you can expand on what we did today, but I feel you're ready. We can do. That's what I said to you the other day. I can give you the paperwork, and you can register for the Eastern Cape. I mean, I can put on the Western Cape for you just to make it easier for the registration. But I would prefer that we finish up with that final essay advanced modules. You've done now 4 of them already, but we said you must revisit, because I promise you, Alex, if you've done those, everything will make so much more sense. You know, in terms, when you get to Gauteng, you will understand that whole period of, although I think it's a lot of crap, but I know it by heart myself, about Mrs. Pless and all her friends. Um, you know, that whole thing on the origins of humans. Then there's Mfakan, and there's the, what is the others? There's a South African overview on post-apartheid and apartheid, that one. So when you've done that, then I know you've got a good basis, because I can hear you picking up so great from that very first time when we did SA overview. You have improved in your knowledge, and you are so enthusiastic. I love it. So I just want to discuss it with you. I don't want to break your speed or anything, and I think we've made good progress. So, but are you happy that we focus a bit now on the garden route? See that is in place. We can try the overview of Western Cape now and see how it goes. And then we'll do another session. As long as I'm not going to prepare as much as I did for this one. I will just take it from, from one side and start chatting. Because I prepared for assessment, I have to have questions, I have to have model answers and all of that. So that took a long time. So if you're happy to try the Western Cape over, exam, let's see. If you get 40%, don't worry. At least you've done it and you've seen what you know. And then we schedule another meeting then. Like you said, we do look at geology. Maybe it's better if you and me just do it and chat about it, but then I'm not going to do so much preparation. Then it's not like an exam, if that's okay with you, because to do that, it's taking too much of my time. So I prefer if you still try the online. You're not so bad with it. I know it's not your favorite, but then we can come back to the drawing board and discuss more. So you can then see, ask the questions. I think what we must do next is do the geography. Maybe before you take the exam, let's sit down and do the geography. That I take you through all of those mountains and the passes, and let's talk about the rivers. Let's get that, because that is an important part of the Western Cape. What about that before you take the online exam? And then we include geology as well, with the next session.
Okay. Listen, Maria, I wouldn't lead you on how to teach your student, because at the end of the day, you see best. You know what's required. I'm just there to learn, eager to learn. So
Yeah.
I can't really go ahead of you. You assess and you see. So if you see it that way, then I don't have a problem with it. We can do that.
Okay, so let me know next time, then we will do geology and geography. And then after that, and I'll send you the list for the garden route, and then you can go through that, see what you know, what you don't know, study some extra notes, because it will really help you. It's a more detailed, much more detail on the garden route. So then and then let's see where we are at. Maybe at this next session, we feel, okay, now we can go forward. So just let me know. I'm fairly available yeah, so you just let me know when you're available, and then we'll do the next session, geography and geology.
Okay. All right. No, not a problem. Not a problem. I can do that. I will see on our side, because of the good weather, it's starting to pick up now. So we also have contracts with schools. So that's why I'm mostly on the road. I don't
Okay.
know, maybe sometime later this week, if not the weekend or that week. But I also don't want to take much of your time, because I'm not the only person you should give your attention to.
Yeah, no, that is fine. I just feel I want to spend some time with you with the geology and geography, because I see that is lacking.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
let me know, Alex.
So now,
I've got the presentation, so we can discuss it. We can work through it together. We'll come up with ideas how to remember. In the meantime, refresh. Keep on going with the biomes and what I've told you, and then we'll just wrap up with this. We'll get there. You have made lots of improvements, so I'm not negative about it. I just see where you're still lacking, and we're going to work on that. It's a difficult province. It's a very difficult province.
yeah, and it's wide. I get it. I understand. Hence, I'm saying I wouldn't want to lead you, because then that will mean I'm learning nothing. I'm just more
No,
focused on the pressure.
yes, no, I hear that, and I'm thankful for that you are not, that we can do it in this manner. Okay, Alex, you
Okay,
have
now.
your work. I still have to have breakfast, and we'll chat again. Next time we'll keep it shorter, because we chatted a long time now, but at least I feel I've got a very good idea of where you are at, and where we can improve. So let's focus on that, and we'll get this done. You've worked hard. Just don't lose momentum. Just do the nice things. Look at the maps and refresh your memory every day. Even just by looking at a map, you'll see the difference, how you start memorizing the information.
Okay, I know, cool. Another problem that I will do. I just need to talk to these guys now again, because I'm sure they are hoping to see me with something that says I can register. Because even though I gave them the idea, they say in some of the sites, even though you're going as a driver, we would prefer that you go with your things being done, but
Yes,
can't force it.
that's why I say let's do another geography and geology. Let's do the online exam, and then I'm willing to give you the Western Cape, but I will give it only because if I know, and you've already given me that commitment that you're still working on it. I don't have a problem with that if we do it in that manner, but we still have quite a bit of work to do on that. So as long as you understand that. So let's at the next section
No,
finalize.
please, okay. No, please, Maria. As I'm saying, I would not want to lead you. If you see that you can give it to me, then I would appreciate that very much. But I would not pressure you into that. If you feel like, okay, you should, you can, I would appreciate it. But from my side, as I said, even with these guys, rest assured, it's not for me to have the badge that I would brag about, because that will be like, now I have a gun without bullets. So
Yeah,
I don't want that. For
yeah.
me, the badge is useless. What's more useful is the knowledge. I want to know, because I want to go there and talk to people with pride of something that I'm assured of. When they ask questions, I must be able to answer without stuttering.
Yes. Now
You
that
see, I
I
want to. I want to become the guide, not the person with the badge.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying, but okay, make that other appointment. Let's do that other one. I'll send you the link, and then I'm sure by that time, then we can just do the Western Cape, write it, you can go and register then, and then we'll still work on it in future. I have a plan now for you, but I don't know how much time we'll have. But anyway, okay, Alex, run off to your work. I will let me know then when we do the geography and geology. And then when we've done that, I'm sure we'll be fine to register for now.
Okay. All right. No, not a problem. Thank you very much for your time, Maria. It was a very long morning talking, but I appreciate every moment of it. I'm very grateful. And thank you. Please go have your breakfast and let me
Yes.
also rush to work.
Okay, Alex, take care.
Okay. I'm not sure. Sorry again. This one that we were covering today, it is mostly recorded. Now, I'm not sure if you can send me the link because I want that part where you were explaining the biomes. I want to go through that again.
Okay, I have to download it and then